welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to Midday News on Global Television. Coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja, I am Jumai Manson. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. You can download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app for Android and iOS devices to keep track of our broadcast. Now the news info. The People's Democratic Party, New Nigeria People's Party, Coalition of United Political Parties, and others have strongly criticized the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, for openly declaring his plan to lead President Bola Tinubu's 2027 re-election campaign. During a media chat in Abuja, Wike described himself as a key asset in helping Tinubu win the 2027 election. The former Rivers State governor also insisted he will not involved in any anti-party activities and challenged the PDP to suspend him if they believe otherwise. While the party's deputy national youth leader, Timothy Osadalo, urged Nigerians to disregard Wike's comments, stating that the party will soon enforce its rules against the minister. Minister of State for Works Mohammed Garoyo says federal government must spend about 880 billion naira annually for maintenance of the federal road network nationwide. This came as the managing director of the Federal Road Maintenance Agency, Chukwuemeka Abasi, disclosed that the template for deducting the road user charge from the prices of petrol and diesel was never implemented by the defunct Petroleum Product Pricing Regulatory Authority, now the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority. The two government officials spoke in Abuja at an investigative hearing of the House of Representatives Ad Hoc Committee. The committee is investigating the implementation and remittance of the 5% user charge for road maintenance under the Federal Road Maintenance Agency. Over now to the People's Democratic Party, PDP in Osun State, has called out the Attorney General and Minister of Justice of the Federation, Lateef Fagbemi, over alleged abuse of office and high-handedness. In a statement by Olaleke Bamiji, the Osun PDP media director, the party protested the interference in the obstruction of local government councils, describing it as politically motivated. The party also revealed that the actions of Fagbemi in regards to the seizure of allocations in the state was dangerous erosion of the doctrine of separation of power. It called on President Bola Tinubu to rein in Fagbemi and remind him that no one is above the law. Benue State Governor Hyacinth Alia has confirmed the killing of 24 persons in deadly attacks in Kpa and Kwara West local government area of the state by armed men suspected to be Fulani herders. Governor Alia made the confirmation after an emergency security council meeting with service chiefs in the state at the government house in Makudi. He noted that the casualty figures may rise given the scale and intensity of the attack in two communities. Benue State Governor further stated that those injured in the attack are receiving treatment in the hospital, while service chiefs have been deployed to the troubled areas on the directive of the State Security Council. Now, in another development, the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Olufemi Oloyede, has relocated to Makurdi, the Benue State capital, over the insistent killing of innocent villagers by herders and militia groups. The killing, which is becoming almost a daily occurrence, has left many dead, several others injured and maimed, and several houses burned, leaving many homeless. The Lieutenant General departed Abuja in early hours of Tuesday, accompanied by his principal staff officers and other top officers at the Army headquarters in the state to have an on-the-spot assessment of the situation on ground. The National Association of Polytechnic Students have called for the legislative upgrade of polytechnics to degree-awarding institutions. In a statement signed by its president, Comrade Ishifoni Ohayin, the association said the upgrade will reserve the lingering dichotomy between higher national diploma and Bachelor of Science holders. The students further proposed a student insurance scheme, mental health awareness campaigns, and improved campus security measures as part of their policy advocacy. You are watching the live broadcast of Midday News. Midday news returns. South Korea leads to polls for new president. Details coming shortly, plus business and sports stories on the other side of this break. Please stay with us. Do you know that global television can be watched in Nigeria and all over the world?
Download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app for Android and iOS devices to watch global television real-time from around the world. What are you waiting for?
Start downloading and stay connected to global television.
You are welcome back, and if you're just tuning in, this is Midday News on Global Television. Thank you for staying with us. In business now, the presidency has begun internal approval processes to resolve the 2 trillion naira legacy debt owed to electricity generation companies before the end of the coming quarter. As part of efforts to stabilize Nigeria's power sector, representatives of the Special Advisor to the President on Emergency, Ereye Onaguluwa, disclosed this at the second Nigerian Electricity Supply Industry Stakeholders Meeting of 2025, hosted by the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission. Onaguluwa said the presidency recognizes the urgency of addressing the debt overhang, which has strained GenCos and impeded electricity supply nationwide. She revealed that alternative debt instruments are being employed due to the federal government's current fiscal constraints. 7 states spent an average of 190% of their internally generated revenue on debt servicing in the first quarter of 2025, a development that shows a worsening fiscal strain facing sub-national governments. Data from the Q1 2025 budget implementation reports of Bayelsa, Adamawa, Benue, Niger, Kogi, Taraba, and Bauchi states shows that debt service expenditure in each of states preceded their internal revenue, in some cases by more than 300%. The trend, when compared with figures from the preceding quarter Q4 2024, also reflects a sharp quarter-on-quarter surge in debt service costs, which rose by approximately 51% across the state review. The Presidential Compressed Natural Gas Initiative, an agency of the federal government, has revealed that Nigeria's push towards alternative transportation fuels has attracted over $500 million in investment and converted more than 50,000 vehicles to run on compressed natural gas within its first year. Now, in a statement issued, the program director and chief of executive of PCNGI, Michael Oluwagbami, stated this: the program, which officially commenced in May 2024, has already created over 10,000 direct jobs and led to the establishment of 255 new vehicles conversion centers and 53 CNG dispensing daughter stations nationwide. Oluwagbami, dismissing a media report that claimed a slow rollout of CNG infrastructure across the country, described the claim as alarmist and unrealistic of the rapid progress achieved under President Bola Tinubu's administration. On the foreign scene now, South Korea began voting Tuesday in the snap presidential election, concluding months of political upheaval following former President Yoon Suk Yeol's controversial imposition of martial law and subsequent impeachment. Polling stations opened at 6 a.m. local time in districts across the country, including Seoul's Meridian area, where a small group of elderly voters queued early to cast their ballots. The National Election Commission, millions had already voted during the 2-day early voting period last week, with more than 1/3 of registered voters participating. The Hamas-run health ministry says at least 27 people have been killed and 90 injured at Israeli fire, which waiting for aid distribution in Rafah, southern Gaza, in the early hours of Monday. The Israeli military says it fired shots near an aid complex after identifying several suspects, and it is examining reports of casualties. A medic in the area says total carnage and being overwhelmed with casualties. Iranian, Egyptian, and United Nations leaders met in Cairo to discuss Iran's nuclear program after the United Nations nuclear watchdog agency said Iran is further increasing its stockpile of uranium enriched to their weapons-grade level. Rafael Morano Gassi, Director General of the Iranian-based International Atomic Energy Agency, IAEA, said the agency compiled its report seen by the Associated Press over the weekend because uranium enrichment is an ongoing concern for the IAEA's Board of Governors. Amid negotiations between the Trump administration and Iran over a potential nuclear deal, Israel is preparing a possible strike on Iranian nuclear facilities. For more on the foreign scene, here is Uyi Agbonfuegbe's report.
Beninese cyber activist Steve Amosu, accused of keeping an online account critical of those in power, has been sentenced to 2 years in prison for what authorities call politically motivated insults and spreading false information. His lawyer, Abubakar Barape, says his incarceration is a service to those who have an interest in seeing Mr. Amosu lavish in prison for something he did not do and for which there is no proof. The digital activist is suspected of being behind the account named Frey Onvey, a famous and anonymous columnist who posted viral audio commentaries to his 75,000 subscribers. His post criticized the actions of the Benin regime under President Patrice Talon, who has been in power since 2016. Beyond Africa, Turkish Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan has opened the second round of peace talks between Ukrainian and Russian delegations in Istanbul, saying U.S. support for the negotiations is extremely important. Fidan insisted that the main goal is to achieve sustainable peace, telling the two sides who are meeting for direct negotiations in the Turkish capital that President Trump's determination to establish peace has opened a new window of opportunity. Uyi Agbonfuegbe, reporting for Global TV News.
In sports news now, Liverpool are reportedly preparing to initiate negotiations for the signing of Nigerian striker Victor Osimhen from Napoli during the upcoming summer transfer window. The 26-year-old forward, who spent last season on loan at Galatasaray, delivered an impressive performance, netting 37 goals and providing 8 assists in 4-1 appearances. Liverpool's interest in Osimhen aligns with their plans to potentially replace David Neres, who has attracted attention from clubs in Saudi Arabia and Europe. Novak Djokovic eased into a record-breaking 19th Roland Garros quarter-final with a comfortable straight-set victory over Cameron Norrie. The three-time French Open champion would renew his rivalry with third-seed Alexandre Zverev in the last 8 on Wednesday after seeing off Norrie 6-2, 6-3, 6-2 on court Philippe Chatrier. His tally of 19 quarter-final appearances as Roland Garros is the record for a single Grand Slam tournament. The captain of Manchester United, Bruno Fernandes, has rejected the Saudi club Al Hilal offer while opting to stay in his club. This was disclosed by Italian sport journalist Fabrizio Romano on X. According to him, Fernandes rejected the club's significant contract proposal. Now that's it on Global TV Midday News. A quick reminder that Global TV is on DSTV channel 365. The start times channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms now showing on your screen by using Global TV NG. You can download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app for Android and iOS devices to keep track of our podcast. I am Junai Manson. Thank you for watching. Good afternoon.